Hello, you guys. I told you I was gonna come back on. Yeah, my hours are totally down, so I'm trying to get them back up because I don't have time to be on here like I used to. So I did say that I was gonna come back on. So I was supposed to come on earlier, but I couldn't do that. So I'm gonna let you all start getting the notifications. What time is it? 10:30. Okay, I see the notifications going out. Hey, Miss Tyranny. We'll have some deep talk tonight. I had the opportunity to chill today and look at movies. You guys, I want to send a shout out to Gangsta Pat. Gangsta Pat has a new song out. Him and him and Crunchy Black, okay? Y'all make sure y'all go and support him. I'm waiting for more people to start getting the notifications, okay? Make sure you guys hit the like button as you come into the room. Hey, Miss Cecilia. I want to have a little bit of deep talk tonight. I don't think my notifications are going out like they should. Hey, Joy Love Scott. Hey, Detroit Cam. How are you all doing tonight? Hey, on One We Go. Oh, nothing much. I just been chilling, all like relaxing and looking at movies most of the day. Just getting the chance to do some things I haven't had the opportunity to do. You have a very good topic right now about the music. I bought the music industry. It's a lot of jealousy in it. Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all the first time that I heard about um I I really had a conversation rather about how evil the industry was. This was some time ago. And I can remember that this was some years back. I remember like the first he wasn't the first rapper that I ever interviewed, but he was the first Memphis rapper that I ever interviewed, and that is Gangsta Pat. Okay, not Project Pat, but Gangsta Pat. I remember he came over to my studio, right, and like after we did the interview, I was extremely curious, right, because if you ever have the opportunity to talk to Gangsta Pat, he's real shy and reserved. Okay, he's real shy and reserved, real quiet, right, and I started asking him questions about the industry. I was like, "Is that stuff true about the Illuminati?" And he kind of went into because he was the first Memphis rapper. Yeah, Gangsta Pat is a legend. Shout out to Gangsta Pat. Shout out to Gangsta Pat. One thing about Gangsta Pat, I have to give him his props. Like we could go like forever without talking, and then he'll call me, and then we'll just pick right back up as friends, right? Um, and so he was telling me about like I'm talking about just talking like we never stopped talking. But he was telling me about all of the stuff that went on in the industry. I do remember that he told me, like, at the time they was putting out cassette tapes, that they had this Jewish guy with long hair to come into the meetings before they even put the tapes in, like, at the time it was record stores and all of that. And he said he would come and, like, pray over, like, in a, and I forgot what it's called, like satanic. He would come and do like a satanic prayer before they even sent the tapes out to, like, the stores and stuff. I was like, oh my God, like, he has a really good story. Like, um, he had told me about this cult, we was talking about something, and I was supposed to visit that like sometime back, but I think I am going to do something with him as it relates to that. It's Memphis history. I'm talking about this particular story, because he was very much involved in it, and it's kind of like my niche. A very good friend of his, and he was involved, and I think it would be a good story. I was going to do it like some years back. Y'all want me to bring him on the show? I'll bring him on the show. I'm sure he won't mind. Like, we talked. Yeah. hmm Cecilia says the aluminum. I'll bring him on the show. I think that would be a good show because I've interviewed him one time before, but I think bringing him on. I wonder. Let me call him. Let me call him back and see what he's doing right now. He may not even be at home yet. Let me see. Um. Because I would love for him to come up tonight. Gangsta Pat is real deep. He is. He is very deep. I may be able to get him for. I may be able to get him tonight. I sent him a message, a text message. So I guess once he gets home, he could see it. Hopefully, we can get him to come on tonight. Um, he'll do it if I ask him to. The Illuminati is for real. Just I think he has a story, and I've always told him, like, as a matter of fact, he is. I'm gonna tell y'all something. He is so talented. Like, as far as I remember when I first got some editing equipment, and I was looking at some of his. That was the time we was like talking all day, every day, right? And so he came over to my studio and he was showing me, like, he teaches himself how to do everything. Like, he teaches himself how to do everything. He came over and he was showing me how to, um, like, he taught me like how to do work something out, and he just read up on it. But he has a documentary that is on his channel. He has a documentary that is on his channel. But we had talked about doing some stuff together as far as, like, um he's a very good videographer. He's a very good producer. I am, but I think the industry, what I was going to say is the industry had really put a bad taste in Pat's mouth. And I hate that, with the way, like, all of the songs that he was at Hillcrest that he wrote. He was 14 years old when he got into the industry, so they definitely took advantage of a talented child. That's what they did. And he didn't learn the industry until later. And I think it just all of the stuff that went on. Because I used to tell him all the time, I think you just need to regroup because you got all of this talent. Like his dad played drums. His dad was a professional drum player. He was in several movies, and he traveled with the Bar-Kays and Isaac Hayes, right? And so watching his dad with instruments, he just learned how to play so many of them just watching his father. Was showing his documentary one day. Hold on, let me see. He's not gonna mind. Says hit you all make sure y'all hit the like button. I want to show you guys. Um
This 7-string guitar right here. 7 strings. You know what I'm saying? My lead ain't got but 6. This got 7. 7 strings, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the extra.
he's so talented. He's so talented. Anyways, you guys, what I want to do is I wanted to talk about what is the number one problem, and we'll get back to Pat later. He'll call me when he gets home or text me rather or whatever. And when he does, if I'm still on, I ask him to come up. But what I wanted to talk about, what is the number one problem in the Black community and how can we fix that? I know we talk about the problems all the time. And I think depending on who you talk to, everybody like has a different perspective, right? Um, a different view of what the problem is. You might hear some people say it's the police. You might hear some people say it's the white man. You might hear some people say it's us, in the Black community. And, I was looking at some stuff that I had the opportunity to really read some stuff today. I just kind of was chill today. And so he said parenting. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't know how to parent. And then you're talking about a lot of like damaged parents. I volunteer and work with this organization um that monitors children that is in foster care. That is something I dedicate my free time to. And I'm going to tell y'all why I dedicate my free time to it. Communication is the key, Gerald. I agree with that. That's a great answer. I would like to see, what do you all think the problem is? The people in the bushes, come out. I want you all to communicate with me on this. But I work with this organization. I do this on my free time. It's a volunteer type situation that monitors children that have been put into foster care. So what I do is they will have me to go out sometimes and talk to the foster parents to see how the child is doing. And one of the reasons I have an interest in that is because I understand what goes on oftentimes when children are put into foster care. Kids are not treated right. Of course, human trafficking, kids are trafficked if they're put into the wrong hands. A lot of couples also was getting into fostering children and abusing these children, right? So that's why that's one of the things that I just I have a um I have a passion as it relates for children, right? And seniors. And so and young adults, of course. And so I agree. It's you get kids that have to be taken away from their parents because of abuse, because they are on some type of drug. Um, hey, and I know people say, well, you shouldn't judge people that are on drugs. I would never judge anybody that is on drugs, right? Because I think, we all have some type of struggle. It's different. We all have different struggles. I know I have my very own struggles and my flaws. Everybody has a struggle, right? But I think we definitely need to address how we can be proactive as it relates to a deterrence um, when people go and they take drugs. Okay, when people go and they take drugs, um, or I guess a deterrence to make people not want to go and take drugs. That's what I meant. Mental illness. I think when a child can be so traumatized, it does cause some type of mental illness. I have to say that is true. Um, yeah, I've seen the reason I don't have tolerance for a lot of stuff. I look at men as I guess Patrick used to say to me all the time, like you live in like a fairy tale world, right? He used to say that, and he was like, you live in a fairy tale world. Like, you do know the type of things like that you envision. Like, reality is that's not what it is. Like, he was like, you always want to see the good in everybody. You it's real. Like, people are struggling, and that's the reality. Like, it's not like a fairy tale type thing, and you feel that way because you haven't seen struggle. Like, he always talk about, like, I've seen struggle or whatever. But the reality is that people messed up. People are truly, truly, like, messed up. um I've seen some horrible things as it relates to I've seen some horrible things. And now that I work for the government again, and I see some horrible things. It has gotten even worse. Can you imagine? I started working for the police department in 2000. 2000. So that's been 25 years ago, and it was bad then. And so each and every, it's horrific now. It's like it's getting worse as far as like the crimes against um children. And yeah, it's something going on in our community, and it's got to be addressed because people want to be offended when I say these black men got to know better. Not all black men, but the ones that I see. um why in the hell are they the incest rate and the rate for abuse and sexual abuse of babies and children at the hands of black men, oftentimes their stepfathers or their fathers? Why is that rising? And so people get offended, say, you always be hard on a black man. White mains is doing too. See, the one of the I don't like that's one of my pet peeves to hear black folks say when I address the flaws in our community. The white people should do it. Why you ain't talk about them? As if because a white man might be a pedo, then it is okay for a black man to be one. That pisses me off. Okay. Um, that makes me real mad. He says we can't fix set. I think it can be fixed, but I mean, it's gonna always be some strays that's just not gonna act right. You can't, I mean, everybody is different, but I'm gonna tell you something. Um, anyways, I think it can be fixed if we can get the majority of people to come together. The majority of the people can't come together because people are scared um that somebody else is gonna get more shine than them. I promise to God that's just how it is. That's how it is. You know, I'm going back to the industry and um I don't know, people just like to take advantage of people. They do. They like to take advantage of people, and I don't know, y'all. Our community is messed up, and this, but there's got to be some type of solution. There has to be a resolve because I think that we've been on a bad way for a long, long time. You talking about a community that is full of talent. Our community is full of talent. Like I know I be on here talking shit all the time, but black men are so talented. Uh, the majority of them so talented, so wonderful. God gave them everything from the melanin in their skin to the baritone in their voice. Is just so freaking sexy to me. I love to hear like a black man's voice because I listen to like when I'm on YouTube, I like to go and go on YouTube and find like the different tribes in Africa. And then when I listen to black guys, I go, dog, okay, I bet his ancestors came from the Zulu tribe or his ancestors came from this tribe. Like how gifted so many of our black men are, and the path that a lot of them choose to take can be extremely heartbreaking. And I don't think that they understand that black women really are their lifeline, right? And so for some reason it has been something put into the atmosphere to make them feel like that the black woman is, or any woman, especially black women, are to be used and abused. Okay. And so I think, yes, absolutely, I love black love. Okay. I was talking to somebody about that tonight. Like, I don't care how often it fails, child. I just be, I be trying again. Okay. I tries again because I think there's nothing better than black love. Break the social media. Social media been making an ass out of a lot of these men. I was telling my friend when I was talking to his butt tonight. I said social media making an ass out of y'all. You don't know how to be good men because you feel like everything is accessible, and there's so many thirsty women. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if he can come up. Hey, babe, can you come up? I forgot what I was saying. It says break the social media curse. Oh, okay. So many people and thirsty men too. Men on social media selling ass too. I never thought that I would see men selling so much. I mean, they're prostitutes too. Okay, and so social media has made people think that everything is accessible, and I mean, they don't really, people don't really feel the need to try and build a foundation anymore as it relates to a relationship. None of that, right? Says knowing how simple it is to be mentally ill and the actions of someone mentally ill can help education. Yeah. But are we giving people excuses? Because now when people don't do right, we call them mentally ill. I mean, I don't think everybody mentally ill. I think people don't have um they don't want to practice having restraints. as it relates to anything. I want what I want. If you don't give it to me, I'm gonna take it. If I can't take it from you, I'm gonna kill you for it. Okay. Then when you dead, I can have it. I don't know if that's a mental illness or a bunch of damn fools. Uh, the laws need to be stricter on. Okay, we do know that the types of drugs and stuff that they are. Right, everybody ain't mentally. Oh, some of these folks just low down. I think we giving a lot of these people to. They're not mentally ill. They dirty. A lot of these folks is low down. No heart, no compassion for nothing. Just dirty. It says wicked is gonna be wicked. Yeah. And so y'all, I think we're starting to see a lot of that rise up in our community. We was talking about the parents. Yeah, because now so many parents, young parents are getting strung out on drugs. You seeing their 12, 13-year-old daughters and stuff, go into foster care. They got to go to a cousin because they always want to keep them in a family inside of their family before they send them to a family that is not blood related to them. And you send them to their cousin. Their cousin got 5, 6 kids already. Really just only got that foster child there depending on their age to keep them kids, and that foster child is doing any and everything that they want to do. And it's just yeah, it's the parenting. A lot of it. 90% of humans suffer from mental illness and are not educated on what mental illness is. Oh wow. And that's true, because you talk about people that suffer from stress. Because being having some type of mental illness, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're crazy. You know what I mean? So you might be stressed out. Some people are overstressed. And I think mentally that can make you ill to a point. You can't keep your you know what I mean? You talking about there's not enough time in a day. I'm gonna tell y'all something. You know, the job that I do, I love doing it, but mentally, I always I have to all I'm always looking left and right, back and forwards. And so when people say, but it don't seem like it's that hard, well, mentally, I'm always looking. I'm always thinking. I'm always awareness. Like I cannot allow for my awareness to be down. And so by the time that I get home, whenever that is, okay, because just like Friday, I didn't get home till about 8 because I left one thing going to take care of something else as it relates to work. Right, I had some clients waiting on me. By the time I got home, um I fell out on the couch, and then when I opened my eyes, all the lights and stuff. Well, you know what, I got on here. I was like, well, let me get on YouTube. And then I was on here for a minute, and then once I got off of here, I fell asleep. When I opened my eyes, every light in my house was on. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, that stress, being tired, you know um that is some of the symptoms of psychopathy. Mm, I don't know. They do use mental illness as a excuse or crutch. Yeah, they do. Because I'm telling you, they do. Some of these folks will go up in a house and kill everybody in there just because they're mad. And then they'll turn around and say, well, I always suffer with stress. And my daddy beat me up. And this, and that. A lot of these people not mentally ill. Okay. They just low down. Hey, True Bleed, they are just slow down. My anxiety and depression got so bad during CVID that I had to go get some help. Hey, Kimberly. Well, when my dad passed away, I do know that I had um I went into a deep depression. I did. I went into a deep depression to the point I went. I mean, by the time I started, I went into a depression. I did. I did. I went into a depression. I work with mental illness, and they young, and drugs got to them. Yeah. So what do we need to do? How can we be proactive? Because they don't really say anything about just say no to drugs anymore. Right. I agree with you on that on One We Go. They don't say anything about, just say no to drugs. They don't. Um, they put, the drugs are, in the community. And what they say is after you get on drugs, we can help you to get off. See, in our era, they spoke more about just say no because they knew the effects that it would cause, even if you got off. But they knew the effects of what it would do to you if you were to get on drugs. But I don't really hear them promoting that anymore. It's almost like they promote it as being cool to be taking Percocets. I remember a time people couldn't even get a hold to Percocets and stuff like that. Now, you know, you hear a lot of these dudes bragging about I'm gone off the perk or whatever, like that's cool or something. I'm like, oh my God. So, but I think saying that a lot of drugs are accessible to people now because they're saying that they have a mental illness. If they don't, they definitely have it when they finish taking those drugs and stuff that they give them. That's when I found your channel, and that's about the same time that you had started talking about everybody and messing with you and just doing you wrong. Where are they at now? Karma's a bitch. I agree. I'm telling you. Karma is a bitch. One thing about karma, it slow walks you down. Some people get it back faster, but you have to be very meticulous about that. But you're absolutely right. I know exactly who you're talking about, and that is the God's truth. It happened. It was almost like it was an obsession with him. I almost want to believe that he was sent, but then he had such an evil spirit on him. That man has such a demonic evil force on him that it was ridiculous. But you're right. Look at, you know, how karma has walked him down. And he's just one of the ones. But what can we do about our community? Incorrect decisions are the living hell. We definitely got it. It has to start with like the children, making sure that we do what is right. You know what I mean by a lot of these kids because they are the future, right? But we're seeing that a lot of kids are damaged. I can't understand how people can mistreat kids. I was looking at on the news this little boy that grew up in Clementine with us. I remember him. He was like a few years younger than us, like 3 years younger than us, 3, 4 years. He was one of the little boys up under us. And I was like, dog, I know he looked the same. He's I think I put it up last night. He's uh been convicted of incest. Okay. Um you know, he pled guilty and got 40 years. So that's why I say, y'all, what can we do about this? Like, um, is that a sickness? Is I guess It is, but it's also a lot of people that do that, they're just dirty. Now, I remember one time, if y'all ever get the opportunity, I don't know if it's uploaded, the first documentary that they did on Memphis police, and they followed, it was like an hour and they aired it on HBO. And so that was like in like 1990, 1991, and they followed the Memphis police around. This was way before First 48. I'll never forget, they on that documentary they went up to they was following the police around as they was answering calls. And I remember this one guy, they um they went up there to South Memphis and they had called the police on him. Now this may be a mental illness. He had been to jail for touching on the little girls in his family. And so when he got out, they left him alone with the kids again, and he touched another one of the little girls in his family. Her mother called the police, and so when he was talking, he was in a police car. He told him, he said, I told my family, don't leave these kids, don't leave them around, don't leave them alone with me. I be telling my mind, I don't want to do it, I know it's wrong. He was like, I be telling my mind, don't do it, don't do it, don't touch him, I know that it's wrong, and I can't help myself. He said, I was telling my mama and my family, don't leave the kids alone with me. He said, I told him. And he said, I've been going to church and they told me I'm delivered, to take that out your mind. This man was telling these folks, I'm still sick. But because they took him to church and the preacher laid hands on him, if you ask me, the preacher didn't lay hands on him hard enough, because when he hit him, he should have knocked the shit out of him. Okay, maybe that would have did something to him, but he throwing holy oil and stuff in his face and putting his hand on his head instead of knocking, hitting him in the top of his damn head and knocking him out. Okay, and they left those kids with him anyways. And so I think that may be a mental illness, because he said himself, I tell myself, don't please, I be trying to tell myself, don't do it, don't do it. And he expressed to the other adults, I am not well enough, I'm a pedophile, do not leave these kids around me. Okay, so I think that's a sickness. Some of these other cases, in the past, like early on when I was working at the police department, um, yeah, some of these other cases, I think that, um, the people were just dirty. That's why I tell young women to be very careful about who they allow into their household, right? Especially if they have young children, because I remember I had the type of case, and I get to thinking about that stuff, y'all, and it kind of bothers me. That's why I was so overprotective of my children. And I'm telling y'all about not recent cases that I've worked. I'm talking about cases from years ago, like when I first started working for the Memphis Police Department, and I was typing up those statements and stuff. And this lady was up there, and she actually had sons with this guy, and then she had like a 7-year-old daughter, and they were all sitting at the end of the bed, his kids and her daughter, which was not his, and they were sitting at the end of the bed. And she said he told her to come here, and he told her to put her head up under the cover, and he made that child perform on him, right? And one of her brothers said, why are you making her do that? You know what I mean? And so he tried to tell her to swallow, but she ended up throwing up, right? This was a 7-year-old child. And I'll never forget, that was around the time Tony Armstrong and Mike Rollins and all of them, they were sergeants. And when I went, they put him in the holding room at that time at the robbery office. And I was like, I just want to go around here and I want to look at him. I'll never forget when I walked through there and I looked in that room at him and he looked at me. He had light brown eyes. He was a black guy. He was a young black guy. He had light brown eyes and they just looked real evil. Like you could see the pupils. I was like, dog, like that's been all of about, I know, over 20 years ago, but I go, dog, I bet he's back, he's out. if somebody ain't popped him. Hopefully they have. Hopefully somebody have knocked him down. Okay, because uh then kids will be safe. Okay, so hopefully they been blew his computer dome out years ago. Okay, I don't remember his name, or else I would track him like I did the other one. But I'll never forget, he looked at me, and I said to myself, I was like, I guess around that time, girls was going crazy over, guys. He was a tall guy. He wouldn't have been ugly, but it was something about them damn brown ass eyes with them damn pupils that just look evil. You could tell by looking at them, his eyes, something was wrong with him. Okay, it's on court TV all the time. Boyfriends being sentenced because they hurt their girlfriend's babies by whip. Yeah, you're right. Whoever said that, parenting, and then girls want to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry up under their children. Okay, up under their children. Well, up under them, and ultimately, exposing their kids to things that. So that's why I don't really have any tolerance for stuff, and I definitely don't have any tolerance for no man that make excuses for any type of abuse of a woman from another man, especially some type of sexual abuse, because I know, I already know how they go. I have issues with men um having sex with women that are passed out drunk. I was listening to a rapper from out of New Orleans, and I actually like that rapper. I always thought he was talented and underrated. And he was on a show one time, and he was like, um, just like if a girl is drunk, she passed out drunk, and when she wake up and she realized that she had sex with all of these men, that was a spirit, like that liquor was a spirit. I was like, oh my God, this motherfucker is a predator. Because if a young lady is drunk and she is not able to say yes or no, even if she ain't passed out, and she's drunk to the point where she don't really know what she's doing, and all these men run a train on her, that's you's a rapist, motherfucker. I want you to know that, and your ass ought to be in jail for 40 years. You's a predator. And so these are the types of things that we got to talk about, and we got to deal with. And then there's got to be some laws put in place, whether it's a man or a woman, because more women are sick now. More of these girls are going into human trafficking because a lot of women don't have nurturing. They're not nurturing anymore. Women are supposed to be nurturers. Okay. So they're using women. A lot of women are able to get these little girls and lure them in to danger. They're using the women to do it. How, if you got a mother, if you got a damn daughter, sisters, nieces, nephews, could you ever work in any type of thing that would lure people in to be hurt, especially young adults and children? I told y'all about the case that the folks came from Nashville, and it was a white girl, and she was a 16-year-old white girl. She had been hanging out with these black girls. Okay. And people get mad when I say that, but they no good asses was black. Okay. They no good sorry asses with some black women. And so they came from Nashville. They lured the white 16-year-old girl, and it was about 3 men. I wish I could pull it. I'm gonna pull it up because I think it's still on the internet. And when she got to the Walmart in Whitehaven, I guess she realized from conversation in the car that they was getting ready to put her into human trafficking. She told them, they stopped at the Walmart. She went into the bathroom, and an employee was in there, and she told the employee that I've been kidnapped. They was getting ready to put her into prostitution. And so what they did was they locked the Walmart bathroom door and call the police. They were still waiting on the girl to come out the bathroom. The police handcuffed their ass. Where they are now, probably out. But that's what I'm talking about. It was the women that she trusted. What in the hell going on with women, whether your ass got a damn child or not? And so now what I hear is a lot of these women, my kids got to eat. They're damaging and participating in things to hurt other people's children, talking about my kids got to eat. Well, bitch, you need to take your ass and get a job at McDonald's. See, these are the types of things that we don't talk about because everybody want to be offended in our community. Well, you know, Tamara judgmental. Well, somebody need to judge your ass. That's why I don't back down when it comes to things that are hurting our community. We don't have the luxury, especially with it's a lot of people hurting in our community is in a state of emergency. We don't have the luxury of being sensitive to your damn feelings being hurt. We got to start coming together and coming up with some damn solutions. We talk about the problem all the time. We can't never get to a solution because everybody's so damn sensitive. We need to get rid of the police. I don't even want to talk to nobody that got that type of mentality. We can't live without the damn police. But everybody got an excuse for the wrong that they do. So when y'all hear me sit on here talk about we need the police, it's because mentally I already, when I used to work for Memphis Police Department, when I was working up there in the bureaus, when I would walk in, I'm in the morning time, it's because I would see how women would be balled up in the hallway of sex crimes. They can't show that on TV. It was loaded every morning. Okay, so what we do is we like to overthrow, I guess, or we like to dismiss 90% of the cases where women really have been hurt and sexually abused, women and children, and focus on the one who may have lied. It don't take away the fact that it is happening and it is prevalent, right? So there has to be some type of resolve as it relates to what's going on in our community. And then we got to start looking at these Negroes that that are in office. We keep our minds and stuff on other things. My dad used to always say, they want you to say that we lead the politics to the politicians because they never want you to learn about politics. They know whoever controls the politics controls the money, right? The politicians control the money. So they want to keep you uninterested in that. I lead the politics to the politicians, but you're living inside of these communities, right? The only thing that you could talk about is that a lot of people in our community can talk about it. We need to overthrow the police. That's because they want to go and sit down on the corner and sell drugs in front of the kids. Oh, we got to be real about it. That's exactly what's going on. These are people that have had run-ins with the law. Okay? And so they put a lot of focus on what we need to overthrow the police when the majority of the police are not bad. They have a job to do. Okay? What we need to do is we need to worry about trying to fix what's going on in our households. I always say it has to start inward and go outward. We got to start working on that. Oh, yeah, Patrick never called me back. He texted me, and then he didn't say nothing no more. I forget about that. I get on here and get the preaching. Well, I guess it don't matter. We almost an hour in. I'll interview him. Maybe I'll interview him tomorrow. Sunday will be a good time to interview him. It says on one we go, says constant run-ins with the law is mental illness. Oh Lord have mercy. Everybody ain't mentally ill. A lot of these people are intelligent. A lot of these people, they're intelligent. They just don't have any discipline. They don't have no type of mental discipline. That's what that's about. Okay. You all make sure y'all hit the like button for me, okay? Make sure you guys please do like, share, and subscribe. And then we gotta support each other. Well, I think our community, we see a person that's talented or they got the capability of going far. Yeah, we need to encourage our black men to start stepping up to and feel more comfortable to start speaking out about healing our community. Believe it or not, more people, especially these young black men, will listen to black men. Even though we have more women that are out front doing it, I believe that more of these young boys would listen to these men if they did. And I think we got to start encouraging them to do that, right? So was that in Memphis where the woman broke all the windows out the projects to fight somebody? It might have been. It might have been. I haven't seen it, but it's possible. So y'all, we gotta do better. We do. Oh my God. It's a video out. Mm, mm, mm. There was some parents fighting at the school graduation, at the elementary school graduation the other day. Tamara, I don't know the judge in the Tyree Nichols. Kimberly said, Tamara, I don't know. I don't know the judge in the Tyree trial is single or not, but I think you and him would make a good couple. I tell you. You know what? I normally don't really date attorneys because they're very smart, alecky. But there is this one attorney that it seemed like every morning we get on the elevator together, and he's just very mild mannered. I was like, he's one of the first attorneys that one of the first that I met, and he is just real chill. He is. He's a beast in the court though. And I'm talking about with like knowing his the law and knowing his work and all of that. But I was like, wow, he's just so laid back and so cool. I like that. And I mean every morning. I don't care if I stop because most mornings I normally go out on in the field. Even before I even ever I go straight out in the field most mornings. But I don't care when I get on the elevator. It's almost like because like one morning I got on the elevator and then the elevator was closing. And then before I thought somebody pushed, open. I was like, dog, somebody opening the elevator again. Now it's going to take forever. And then he jumped in. I was like, wow, it just seems like, I mean, he's just a cool, he's a really easy to deal with guy. Kimberly says, I was looking to see if he had a ring on when he was up on the bench. Kimberly, maybe you think he would be a good catch for you? And he didn't. And I thought, Oh Lord, that is the next. I appreciate you thinking about me. But Kimberly, they say it's not good to date lawyers. It's not. I think that lawyers should date other lawyers. I think lawyers should marry lawyers. Therefore, y'all know the law. If you ever break up, he gonna whoop you raggedy with that law. That is our horn. That is our horn singer because he's got a player's reputation down in Memphis. Our horn used to be beautiful. He used to be so gorgeous. When I first started working downtown, I remember the first time actually saw. I'll never forget. I actually saw him. I was like, "Oh my God, he is drop dead gorgeous." I was like, "Oh my God, he is drop dead gorgeous." I mean, and he's real friendly and he is very friendly and charming. He's gotten older and he's still not a bad looking guy. But he was just so charming and oh, I was like, oh, if I was on the mm, mm. His dad was my doctor. Rest in peace to Dr. Horn. His grandfather was a doctor too. Both of them passed away. Rest in peace. His dad was very nice and charming and stuff. Um, no, he won't be a good catch for me. I just got out of a relationship with a damn Memphis U.S. Marshal, off and on for 5 years. No, I am single for a while. I think I want to be, I mean, I I tried to date a little bit after 2 years, and it didn't work. It wasn't meant to be. So it didn't last long or anything like that, which is cool. Easier to move on. But I mean, I'm not scarred or anything. It didn't work. Um so I think instead of trying to look at being in a relationship, I think I just want to talk to people because I don't want people in my space. You know. Like some of my friends that I've dated before, it's pretty cool to like hang out with. But the ones that I'm friends with, because I'm not friends with very many. But I don't want to be with them. Yeah, but them lawyers' wives who are reaping them benefits are not complaining. My stepdad is a judge and my mama is not complaining. I tell you. Um, anyways, you guys, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. You all make sure y'all hit that like button. But anyways, you guys, we was talking about what is the problem in the Black community and how can we fix it. See, he's got lineage that's where for anybody these days to come from a pedigree like that. I don't care who you're. His grandfather. I always thought that his grandfather was white, but his grandfather says that his grandfather identified himself as being a black man. So, but I mean, I thought that Dr. Horn was white, but he said he was black. I'm not talking about his dad. I'm talking about his granddaddy, the Dr. Horn Senior. That's his name was Art Senior. That's the first Art. I thought he was white, but he says that he was black. So I don't know. He say he was black. I mean, if the man say he was black, he was black. But I didn't. I thought he was white though. Um. Anyways, his dad was definitely a black man. His dad was handsome too. But Art was beautiful. Art has a really pretty mother though. Also. Um. Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Oh, y'all. Yeah, I relaxed so much today. I got the opportunity to do just what I wanted to do today. And that's chill. Have you heard anything on Govan is locked up, or was that just a play? I don't know. They tried to say that Govan was locked up, and maybe he was or is. I don't know, but one thing for sure, you can't find it. So Govan probably, if he's not locked up, Govan has a supposedly got a trial coming up in July. So that's a month away because we're 30 minutes from June 1st. So that would be a month away. Okay. So if he's not in jail, which I don't, there's no evidence of him being in jail. So what I would have to say is that maybe he just want to, he trying to get his mind right. Because you don't even hear the prosecutors talking about his trial. So, you know, it's so, you know, I tell you, I guess he's just trying to get his mind right. His trial doesn't have the hype that Straight Drop's trial had. Okay. And that's because Straight Drop was so flamboyant with his stuff. Okay. He wanted to be a movie star while in jail. I think Govan's trial is, if he goes to trial, I would think that would be the trials. I would definitely want to be televised because I think that if it goes to trial, it's going to be way more loaded with information, more so than Straight Drop's trial ever could have been. That's what I think. She says he lives in Mississippi with a white woman, and apparently she likes a big deal at some college there. I've never heard of nobody just going to jail for the hell of it. Right. Me neither. Really? Does he live with a white woman? Oh wow. Um, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. So that'll be interesting though. That trial, Govan's trial, would be extremely interesting. Me myself, I would be interested in seeing it. Yeah, I know. And his lawyer is saying they can't wait for trial because they're going to vindicate him. Well, all lawyers say that, But hey, it'll be interesting. I think what's scary is that, his lawyers has not drawn up any more. What it should be scary to him. I say this: it should be scary to him that his lawyers have not drawn up any motions to try and get those charges thrown out. If they felt like the prosecution, whatever it is that the prosecution got, isn't sufficient, I I mean, I would have thought that they would do something like that, but they haven't. So, I see that um Judge Jennifer Johnson, well, Straight Drops situation is in appeal. Cornelius goes to court next week, right? I think Cornelius goes to court next week. So now Cornelius was supposed to be sentenced, last year? They don't even talk about sentencing him anymore. So that right there should tell you everything you need to know. I'm sure he is going to be sentenced, but they don't talk about it anymore. So that's interesting within itself. No, there ain't nothing wrong with it, but I mean, I'm saying like you don't ever hear anything about him being in a relationship, but he is. I figured he was in a relationship. I mean, that's what I figured when they said he was living in Mississippi, supposedly. Oh, I figured he was probably living down there with somebody. That's what I figured. Um, hold on, you all. And Govan has been trying to assume another identity. His name is Hernandez Devin Govan. He has been going by Devin Govan Hernandez. Oh wow. What up, the Cypress? You want to come up? Yeah, I'm gonna try to have Gangsta Pat on here tomorrow. I mean, he'll do it if I ask him. Well, I did just ask him. He didn't say anything, but he'll do it. Um, I wonder if they're going to do anything with Cornelius until after Quet's trial because it's going to be incentives for Cornelius to talk. Well, they keep pushing it back. We'll know what they're doing if they reschedule Cornelius, if they reschedule his date for next week, then we're gonna know something. We're gonna know that they're really trying to wait until after Quet goes to trial. We'll know that. Yep. Who would date him knowing the shit he's done? And I mean, why would I date someone that killed Young Dog? Oh hell, no, never. The girl is crazy. I tell you. Yeah, I wanted to show y'all this video. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. I'm at my parents picking up my dogs, and my dad said to tell you that, hey, lawyers and judges need love too. I tell you. I tell you. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all someone who is such a total, complete gentleman, and that is Judge Coffee. Nobody would ever believe it. He is so freaking polite. He is such a southern gentleman. He is that. He is. And a lot of people would never, because but if you think about it, like on the bench, he's really polite when he gives you them 100 years. Okay. But he's such a polite person. Such a gentleman. Hold on, you all. But they named folks because how the hell do you think I found out? Maybe I should say what I was getting ready to show you all for tomorrow when Patrick comes on. Yeah, I'll save it for tomorrow. Maybe I'll give you all a little glimpse of it. Cause I'm gonna have to make him talk because he's so shy and reserved. I'm shy and reserved, and he's more shy and reserved than me. Hold on, you guys. Oh, hold on. But they thin folks because how the hell do you think I've mm-hmm. Know what I did with my phone. Hold on, you all. I'm looking at something. Anyways, you guys. Yeah, who is in the bushes? I be wanting to know, like, who is in the bushes so bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been trying to get um I mean I've been trying to get him to do a podcast. You all make sure you who is in the bushes? If you're just coming in, we was talking about the number one problem in the Black community and how can we fix it. I really wanted, people to engage on how that we could fix what is going on within our community. And then we started talking about Gangsta Pat. And I was saying that I'm going to try to have him on here tomorrow on the podcast so that I could interview him. I think that would be a good interview because he really likes talking about the history of Memphis rap because he's definitely a legend. Hold on, you all. Yeah, hold on. Anyway, y'all not talking to me. Y'all not communicating back. Yeah, I'm in so chill today that it is ridiculous. I need to be taking my I need to take my Sunday dinner out and do some more things. But I'm definitely gonna try to have Gangsta Pat on here tomorrow to do an interview. And I'll get him to talk about like the history of Memphis rap. I know a lot of people gonna want to know like how he feels about the Dolphin Gotti situation. I will ask him, but I'm gonna tell you now he's not going to. Hey, the Alabama hitter. Hitter, I was just talking about. I'm gonna try to have Gangsta Pat on here tomorrow. I'm gonna try to have Pat on here tomorrow. So that we could talk about Memphis, talk about a few things, not just Memphis history, but you know, his career, so that he could tell about. He's got a story, like I said. Yes, absolutely, I think so too. Or there's one way to find out. Start dissing Gotti or Votto, and they seem to climb out of the woodworks. And I'm not talking about. Yeah, he's not gonna address it. I'll ask him, but he's not going to address it. He's that's how he is. He's not gonna address it. Really. Hold on. I still want to let me show just a little bit of it.
The streaming home of Dogman.
This just in.
Where is Dogman anyway?
Let's do this.
Why say you touch that button, you?
Dogman, rated PG, streaming now only on Peacock.
So, what do you think?
With no male figure in my life to guide me, I began to look up to my older cousin Jay as a father figure.
Jay like my older brother.
Yeah, I'm looking at those striped pants he had on. I gotta mess with him about that. I know that was the 70s, though. I know that was the 70s. Cypress can't never wait to be flirting with Joy Loves God. Okay, y'all, that's part one. Anyways, you guys, I ain't mean to play it that long, but shout out to Gangsta Pat. I'm gonna try to make sure I have him on so that I can interview him tomorrow. I think that would be a good interview. He's a real laid back, cool guy. He's real laid back and cool, just a good natured dude. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, y'all want to finish looking at it? Okay. Okay, let me go back to it. What happened? He said who'll be back in 5 minutes. Did they stop the video? Oh, let me see. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. He's gonna be on. Let's see. Oh, they suspended the stream. Okay, well, it'll come back up. When I looked at it, it was back on. So is the stream back up? Normally it comes right back up. Oh, okay. So what I was gonna say about Gangsta Pat is it's probably back up at now because it's saying that it's still live. Y'all tell me if it's back, if the stream is back up. Hold on. Oh, it's still suspended. Okay, it's back up. The stream is back up. But my point is, I know that 3 6 Mafia ended up being with YouTube AirPlay doesn't matter anymore. What is YouTube AirPlay? YouTube AirPlay. But he was the first rapper to go national in the Memphis area. And so a lot of people get who all in here listen to the radio. I remember them talking about Skinny Pimp in that one movie, but I never heard his music. Oh, wow. His story is interesting. I have to say so myself. His story is interesting. I think as the years have gone on, he said the radio played out. I tell you. Here, I don't know. I said radio air. I don't know why I said you said with YouTube radio airplay doesn't matter anymore. I read that so wrong. I said, what is radio? I said, what is YouTube airplay? I don't know how I totally skipped over the radio. I said, what is YouTube airplay? But like I said, he has a very interesting story. Patrick does. So we always hear from Project Pat. I think it would be good to hear from Gangsta Pat. Pat is a really cool person. Super, super laid back dude, very mild mannered. I remember the first time I get tickled. I used to mess with him about this. The first time I interviewed him at my studio, he said we love Gangsta Pat in Birmingham. I don't know why he's not touring. He needs to start touring. And after the first time I interviewed him, like right after the interview, he looked at my fingernails. I had on some blue fingernail polish. I'll never forget. He was just sitting there looking at me right after the interview. I was like, well, thank you for the interview. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And then he just sat there. I was looking at him. I was like, dog, is he gonna get up and leave? And so then he said, I like your fingernails. I like your fingernail polish. I said, I appreciate that. And so he just sat there for like 5 more minutes looking at me and didn't say nothing. I was like, well, do you need me to walk you to the door? And he was like, no, I know where the door is. And then he just sat there again. It was weird, but like he just kind of loosened. That's when I started asking him questions about the I was like, well, I guess maybe he wanted to stick around. So I'll ask him more, questions about the music industry. He was very open about it. And that's before all of this stuff started coming out about the evilness of the industry. He was talking about it even then. People don't respect rap culture or the part of rap. In the 80s, early Memphis rap artists and groups like DJ Spanish Fly. Antonio lived in the projects with us. DJ Spanish Fly, they lived directly in the complex, directly over across from us. He was always older than us. His real name is Antonio. And Antonio was always a nice guy. He was always a very, very nice person. And 3-6 Mafia laid the foundation. I'm gonna let Pat tell y'all the story about I could tell y'all the story about that, because before I ever even met Gangsta Pat, so like after we moved out of Clementine, I told y'all DJ Spanish Fly grew up in Clementine. They were the older boys, but their apartment complex was facing ours directly in front of us, right across the yard. So then after we moved out of Gangsta Boo was hard. We moved out of the projects. We moved to the Whitehaven area. And we moved in the same division that DJ Paul and them moved in. That's something, isn't it? So I always talk to you about Paul and Ricky. But Paul grew up in Twinkletown. And him and Ricky was his blood nephew. And he was living in the house with them. Paul's dad was raising Ricky. And so I remember when Paul used to come over there, him and Ricky used to come. Vanessa was there. They used to always be coming down there, standing out in our, driveway, talking to us and messing with us and stuff. So yeah, 3-6, he's from 3-6. At that time, I don't think he just called himself DJ Paul. I'll never forget, Paul was standing out there and Paul was excited. He was like, Gangsta Pat has agreed to take me up under his wing. And I didn't know who Gangsta Pat was, but I remember him saying that. He was like, yeah, Gangsta Pat has agreed to take me up under his wing. He was really excited. Paul, I have to say, Paul had been working hard for a very long time. I think I was telling Cypress, yeah, Ricky was really Lord Infamous. I guess that's what they call Ricky, but Ricky was real quiet. He was not. Paul was naturally funny. Like he was funny. He was witty and all that, but he had a mean spirit. Ricky was real quiet. He was real quiet. He wasn't as disrespectful as Paul was. But I remember that. I remember him saying, Gangsta Pat has agreed to take me up under his wing, and he was excited to be hanging out with Pat. Around that time, that's when Pat was on, and Paul and them were wanting to get up under him. So, and then that 3-6 ended up being extremely successful. I'm not saying Pat did. I'm just saying. I remember him saying that to us, that Pat had agreed to take him up under his wing. I F with Gangsta Boo. She was tough. I miss the era of female quality rappers. Yeah, Queen Latifah. Yeah, I love Moni Love, MC Light, Miss Jade, Eve, Left Eye. What about Miss Melody? She was I like Miss Melody with Boogie Down Productions. Trina, Left Eye. It's been a lot of rappers. Ask Crunchy about Paul if you want to know the truth. You got his phone number? If Crunchy, Pat, okay. I think Crunchy paid for charged for interviews. I ain't got the money to pay him. I think they all charge for interviews, but I'm not worried about Pat charging. It says for my money, Mia X the hardest. Yeah, Mia X is hard. I used to love her voice. Mia X is one of the hardest. You're right. She really is. I don't think people give her props like they should. Her sound was very relevant as it relates to like the No Limit sound. I remember those artists talking about how Master P had them investing in stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he was a savvy businessman. Yeah, Mia X is very underrated. She's very underrated. Says Lady of Rage was tough as F. I used to F with her, but I can't pronounce it. Bahamida. I didn't pronounce that right. Bahamadia. Yeah, but Mia X was tough. She was on a lot of features with No Limit. Bahamadia. I think Lady of Rage is sick now. Hilda said she had like 3 albums. He said features cool, but them albums. I thought she had more than 1 album. So Hilda said she had like 3 albums. Hold on, I'm getting ready to name them for you. Good Girl Gone Bad was released in 1995. Unladylike was released in 1997. And Mama Drama was released in 1998. These were albums. So she had 3. Yeah, I had to Google it because I know Google know. So exposing the truth. So you was wrong. She had more than one album. Exposing the truth. You didn't even know she had 3 albums. So if I said my favorite verse, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't even know it because you thought she had 1 album. You didn't even know she had 3 albums. So you wouldn't know. It says Rod Digger was my favorite. Yeah, she was very underrated, Rod Digger. Oh my God. Y'all hit that like button. Make sure you guys please like, share, and subscribe. Yep. You see how he trying to spin it? All he got to say is I was wrong. I didn't know. That's all he got to say. Call in, but I bet you ain't get ready to roast me. You know you was wrong. You didn't even know what album, how many albums she had. Yeah, I told y'all he be having the devil in him. Oh. Mm. What a way to make a living. Can't see by. It's all taking and no giving. It's my song. Well, I knew she had more than one album. I just wasn't sure. So I didn't I said I thought she had more than one album. So I went and checked. I wasn't loud and wrong like you exposing the truth. Oh my God, I thought that she had went into remission. So it's back again? She's battled cancer one time before, once or twice. And it went into remission. Oh my God. I didn't know that it was back. Oh wow. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, she is in remission. Thank God. Yep, thank God. A live about Travis Hunter. Maybe I do a live about him Tuesday. Maybe I do a live about him Tuesday. He'll just say he got a crush on me or ex. Exposing the truth. I think you the only person want to hear about it. I will say mm, I'm going out of town at the end of next week. So I'm gonna try to do as many videos as I can because I ain't gonna be on. I'm not doing no lives. Oh, you know what's going on with Travis Hunter? What's going on with them? They said Trump may pardon Diddy. Hmm. 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 I need to. Hmm. I saw it on Alba and Peach channel and Preach channel. Exposing the truth. You're from out of Memphis. You mess with gangster. Do you like Gangsta Pat's music? I ask you, you like Gangsta Pat's music? He said he don't like rappers. I don't believe that. He claimed he don't like rappers. Anyways. Since they made music that perpetuated negative stigma on the community. I don't think they made okay. I don't support that stuff that harms our environment. Music is the biggest influence. I was outside for a few minutes. I'm inside now. Now, all rap is not negative. It's not. Mhm. Mm. Anyway, y'all, I'm ready to get off. Y'all make sure tomorrow I'm gonna try to have Patrick on here. I'm definitely gonna try to have Pat on here. Yeah, I said I don't have anything to do tomorrow, but I do, but it's not gonna be long. I was repeating what somebody in the chat said, exposing the truth. You always looking for an angle. Anyways, you guys, I enjoyed you guys tonight. Listen, I'm gonna try to get on tomorrow. If I get on tomorrow, I'm gonna try to do as many videos as I can this coming week all the way up until Thursday, because I'm gonna be out of I'm going to take me a trip Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm just gonna chill. It's not gonna be too far from around the Memphis area, but I just think that it's good to hop in your car and go to Nashville or somewhere and spend the weekend. So that's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, you guys, I love you guys. We'll talk tomorrow.